This is Keith Helwig from Cops Corrections Videos. Today I want to talk about the tools on our belt. I was a police officer, and when I was a correctional supervisor, I had many tools on my belt. As a police officer, I of course have a handgun, I have extra magazines, I have an extra set of handcuffs, things that I normally wouldn't have access to. Now in the prison I carried a taser, and I carried OC spray, and a set of handcuffs. But we also had an armory, and in the armory we could get pepper ball guns, we could get other types of non-lethal rounds, whatever we needed to control a situation. As a police officer, you're out on your own, so you have to kind of improvise and make sure that you've got enough of everything. The old saying that one is none and two is one really applies when you're sitting in a squad car. One of the things I'd like to talk about, though, is one of the most underutilized tools on our belt today. I watch all these police videos, and it's people refusing to comply with orders, it's people refusing to get out of their car, it's people advancing on an officer in a threatening manner, and 9 times out of 10, the thing the officer goes for now is the taser. Now don't get me wrong, the taser is a great weapon. It's a great intimidation device as far as putting that little red dot on their chest. A lot of times that'll take the rabies right out of a person. But there are times when a person, if they're got a lot of adrenaline going or whatever, that little red dot's not going to mean squat to them, and they're going to keep coming at you. So you shoot them with the taser. Tasers, I know the taser didn't take me down. It locked me up where I was, but it didn't take me down. It hurt like heck. It's not something I want to do again, but it didn't take me down. Now, a lot of people have learned different tactics in defending themselves against the taser, particularly those in the criminal element. So the taser, you know, it's a one shot. It's like carrying a musket into a gunfight. You've got one shot. Some of them have 2 or 3 shots. Generally, those are pretty much unaffordable for the majority of departments. I know my taser, I have 1 shot. But another tool that's on my belt that I seldom see used nowadays by personal officers. Now, I've seen it used during disturbances, I've seen it used against Antifa, I've seen it used against BLM, is OC spray. Now, we all carry a canister of OC spray on our belt. When I worked in the prison system, I cannot begin to count the number of times that I've had to utilize OC spray. And out of all the times I utilized OC spray, I did not have one single instance where it didn't do its job. Now I see these videos of officers telling somebody to get out of their car, get out of their car, get out of their car. They don't. The officer tries to reach in the car and they end up getting dragged, or, you know, it ends up in some tragic way. And I'm not backseat quarterbacking anything any of those officers did. They did what they felt had to be done at the moment. But in looking at it, if I walk up to a car and I need to get that person out of the car. For one thing, in the state of Wisconsin, you are legally obligated to get out of your car if a police officer requests you to get out of the car. That's so they can check over your condition to see if you're under the influence of drugs or alcohol. It can be an issue of officer safety. You know, perhaps they saw a weapon or something in the car and they want you out of the car. So you are legally obligated to get out of your car in the state of Wisconsin if a police officer asks you to get out of the car. Now, if somebody rolls their window up and says, nope, not getting out of my car, you can't make me get out of my car, I'm going to tell them that they need to get out of the car. I'm going to tell them why they need to get out of the car. And if they refuse to do so, I'm going to do something that we did at the prison on numerous occasions every single week. I'm going to spray a little spray of OC in that car. And then I'm going to let them saute in it. And I would be willing to bet that 99 out of 100 times when you do that, that person's going to come out of the car on their own. You're not going to have to break their window. You're not going to have to reach into the car. They're going to come out on their own. Now, is there a risk of exposure if there's passengers in the car? Yeah, there is. But the risk of the exposure to the passengers is a lot less of a risk to the general public than if you let that person go and speed away, or if he catches you in the car as he's trying to speed away. Again, OC is one of the tools on your belt. We shouldn't be afraid to use it. It's not life-threatening. It's actually OC, for people who are aware of it, is considered a foodstuff. It's not even considered a chemical agent. It's OC capsicum pepper, which people can put on their food and can eat it. I know people who actually tasted OC on their tongue and actually liked it. Now me, I didn't. OC kicked my big Danish butt for probably a good half hour when I got exposed to it the first time. I've been exposed to it so many times because I've used it so many times working at the prison and working as a cop for the past 25 years that it's kind of lost some of its effectiveness on me. But I'll tell you what, I would still rather be tasered once than OC'd once. The OC is something that keeps on giving for probably a good half hour afterwards. Even when you rinse it out, you're gonna have to take a shower afterwards, and guess what? The oil remains on your skin, and wherever that oil flows to, it's going to keep burning. So, you know, it's just a tactic. It's one of the tools on our belt. I think it's a tool that is underutilized today by individual police officers. I know myself, I am not going to reach into anybody's car to try to grab their keys. I'm not going to reach in and try to restrain that person. It's just too dangerous. Why let yourself be dragged along the street? Maybe because it's a simple traffic citation, or maybe even because it's a felony and that person is going to get away. But use the tools on your belt. Remember that you have more than a taser. You have more than a handgun. You have more than a baton. You've got a number of tools on your belt. Make sure you consider which tool you're going to use for whatever job is appropriate. So until next time, this is Keith Hellwig from Cops Corrections. Stay safe and watch your back.